Welcome to the Dr. Wyatt Show podcast. For developing a long-lasting, happy relationship is the status symbol to achieve. And following my 6 marriage steps is a path to help get you there. I'm your host, Dr. Wyatt Fisher, a licensed psychologist specializing in couples counseling. Be sure to send me your questions that you want me to address on the show. You can email me at info@drwyattfisher.com and put podcast in the subject line. Also, be sure to follow me on social media. Whatever your favorite channel is, you can find me at Dr. Wyatt Fisher. When was the last time you gave your marriage an entire day? When was the last time you and your partner had undivided attention? When was the last time you learned how to develop a successful marriage? Well, now's your chance. You can attend my Total Marriage Refresh Conference coming up in Denver, Colorado, October 28th. This is my signature conference that I've been doing for over 10 years, and it's one of the most exciting events you want to attend. It's an entire day for you and your partner to focus, laugh, learn, grow, and heal. If you want to attend, click the link in the description to learn more. So today I'm going to talk about 6 communication tips to improve your relationship. You want to improve your relationship? Improve your communication. A lot of people talk about communication. We need help with communication. Can you help us with communication? And communication can mean a lot of things based on how people are explaining it, how they're defining it. So today I'm going to talk about how to become a better communicator by becoming more mindful of your words, more mindful of your impact, more mindful of how you come across to your partner, because I noticed a difference in my practice. Some couples I work with are very careful with how they interact. They're very careful with the words they choose. They're very careful with how they come across to their partner. Other couples I work with are very careless. They're not trying to be mindful at all. They're mindless with how they interact with each other. And because of that, they do a lot of damage. Your interactions with your partner can make or break your relationship. Your words have power. Maybe you realize that. Maybe you don't. So the first 3 things I'm going to address are patterns that mindless partners do when they're interacting with their spouse. Number 1 is they use sarcasm a lot. Sarcasm is ugly. No one likes sarcasm, especially when it's at someone else's expense. And it's a mild form of contempt. So when you're being sarcastic, you're actually being contemptuous. And contempt is actually one of the worst things you can do in a relationship. It hurts the relationship the most. So what is sarcasm? Sarcasm is when you say, "Yeah, I bet you do," or "No wonder you feel like that. That's expected." Those are sarcastic comments. When you're being sarcastic, you're sending the signal that I don't like you. And actually, I don't respect you. And actually, I'm talking down to you. So sarcasm is something couples do when they're being mindless. A second thing couples do, or partners do when they're being mindless, is they assume the worst in their partner. When their partner does something wrong, when their partner hurts their feelings, when their partner does something that's frustrating, they don't give them benefit of the doubt. They assume the worst in their intent. And you hear it in their language. They'll say stuff like, "You're so selfish, of course you would do that." Or, "You're such an insensitive partner. No wonder you reacted that way." Or, "You never think about my needs because you're just so self-absorbed." They'll say a lot of things that assume the worst in their partner's intent. And when you're on the receiving end of that, it feels terrible because we all want to be given benefit of the doubt. But careless partners, those who are mindless, are not doing that. They're assuming the worst in their partner's intent. Number 3 is they criticize. Mindless partners criticize. They throw out complaints left and right. They don't even think about it. They may do it so much they don't even realize they're complaining. But a complaint is anytime you say something that puts your partner down. "I don't like how you do that," or "Why don't you ever touch me? What's wrong with you?" Or "You're such a bad driver," or "You're so harsh with the kids." Those are all complaints. Now, there's a time and place for complaints, and I have tools for that. But mindless partners don't have any awareness of when is it appropriate to make a complaint, and they don't have any awareness of how to make a complaint. And lo and behold, their partner feels attacked and gets defensive, and then they feel invalidated. So those are 3 things mindless partners do. They are sarcastic, they assume the worst, and they criticize. How much are you mindless? How much do you do those 3 things? Now, let's move over to mindful partners. So instead of being mindless, let's try to be mindful. So here's a couple things that I notice mindful couples doing. The first one is they frequently compliment their partner. They'll weave compliments into their language naturally. They'll say things like, "You've gotten so much better at that," or "I really appreciate how good you are at this," or "Have I told you lately how much I really love how you fill in the blank?" They just naturally compliment. They are appreciative, they point out the bright spots, and they say it frequently. This is important. We all want to feel praised. We all want to feel appreciated. So the more our partner compliments us, the more we want to compliment them. It just infuses positivity into the relationship. The next thing that mindful couples do when they're communicating is they give benefit of the doubt. And that sounds like this: "I know you probably didn't mean it, but," or "I know you were really busy and distracted the other day, but," or "I know it wasn't your intent, but the other night when you said," you see how I'm adding in all this offsetting language? This offsetting language is giving your partner benefit of the doubt. And when you're on the receiving end of that, that feels helpful because it decreases your desire to defend yourself. And it shows you your partner is trying to see the innocence in your heart. And that makes you feel like allies instead of enemies. The third thing that mindful partners do is they're careful not to criticize. They may have a complaint, but they know it's a complaint and they don't want to hurt the rapport with their partner, so they're very careful. They'll say things like, "I wanted to bring up something, but it's not that big a deal and I don't want to hurt your feelings and it's really minor, but the other day something did hurt my feelings." They'll say something like that. They add a lot of offsetting language to their complaints because they don't want to hurt their partner's feelings. They're very mindful of the rapport in the marriage. And what that means is they're constantly thinking about what I'm going to say might hurt my partner's feelings, and I don't want that to happen. Therefore, I'm going to be very careful how I say it. I'm going to be very sensitive. I'm going to be very gentle. And therefore, when they do have a criticism to make, they're very cognizant of how they're using their language. And they will use a lot of offsetting language. "Hey, the other night, something did kind of bother me. I just wanted to bring it up, but, we're good. It's not that big a deal, but it did kind of rub me the wrong way. Would you mind if we talk about it?" That's all very gentle, disarming language before you make a complaint or a criticism. And that goes a long way because on the other side of that, it's going to decrease you feeling attacked. It's going to decrease your need to want to defend yourself because you can tell your partner's trying to be gentle and loving and careful with how they communicate. So those are 3 ways to become a mindful partner. You frequently compliment your partner. Number 2, you give benefit of the doubt. And number 3, you're careful not to criticize. How much do you do that? How much are you a mindful partner? How careful are you in your interactions with your spouse? It makes a significant difference. So to summarize, to avoid being a mindless partner, number 1, watch out for sarcasm. Number 2, watch out for assuming the worst. Number 3, watch out for your criticisms. And then become a mindful partner is the opposite. Number 1, frequently compliment your partner. Number 2, give them the benefit of the doubt. And number 3, careful not to criticize. And if you do, be very gentle with your language. Thank you for listening to the Dr. Wyatt Show podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to share it with one other person today to pay it forward. And if you want to improve your marriage, be sure to receive my ABCs. A is my app, Keep the Glow, KTG. Download it wherever you get your app to improve your communication. B is my boot camp. If you want access to my best resources and me live once a week for Q&A, be sure to join my boot camp. And C is coaching. Work with one of my master coaches to help you and your partner resolve your resentments so that your marriage can start moving forward. For more information on my ABCs, check the links in the description. And remember, your marriage is alive. So if you care for it and nurture it, it will grow. But if you deprive it and neglect it, it will wilt and die. The choice is up to you. Take care.